Kempire is brought to you by... Hey, Kempire fam, are you okay? This Friday, September 19th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. PST, I'm going live with my faves at Butter Skin to spill the glow. I'm breaking down my real routine and the products I actually use, and so much more. We're talking quick, simple switches that make a huge difference, tips for glowing skin, and exclusive deals and giveaways you can only get during the live. Be sure to tune in and follow at Butter Skin everywhere so you don't miss it. And get ready to upgrade your routine and level up your glow with me, TheKempire. Let's get it, and I'll see you then. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And sharing is caring. One of my favorite things that I heard at this week's final show of the Kempire After Dark, the Villain Era live experience, was that you guys have put other people onto the podcast, put other people onto the YouTube channel or our TikTok. Keep spreading the word. That is going to help us get to 1 million subscribers here on YouTube and even more followers on other platforms. So thanks to everyone that does spread the word and that continues to spread the word. We appreciate you guys. This is a pre-recorded recap of the Real Housewives of Orange County because it wasn't that great. There was nothing that happened in this episode that enticed me to be like, oh, I should go live and speak about it. Real Housewives Miami, that will be live and in living color, more than likely Sunday afternoon. Stay tuned officially, okay? You'll see the link more than likely by the time this one is uploaded. But this is pre-recorded, so woo 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 to all of us. This episode, even though the season has not been that great, this episode felt like a filler episode in a not-so-great season, which is not great. They're going to have to pull out the punches for season 20. And I talked with David Yonta from Behind the Velvet Rope. If you missed that, that happened on Friday. The video was released and the podcast version was released. And we had a really good conversation talking about the involvement of bloggers, but also we went over like every single Housewives show, from Real Housewives of Atlanta, Real Housewives of New Jersey, because he was very prevalent in his coverage of Real Housewives of New Jersey. So we had a really great conversation talking about that. More specifically, though, about bloggers' involvement in this reality series, because so many of the fans say, oh my God, I don't like this. And they always turn on the blogger. They don't turn on the housewife. They always turn on the blogger when the bloggers or journalists or podcasters are just doing their job, getting information and sharing that information with you guys. Depending on how they share that information, everyone varies. Some are a lot more clout chasing and thirsty than others. However, that's the nature of this business. What you guys don't see is the housewives and their involvement in some of this behavior and them trying to pull bloggers in as a storyline or as a weapon. What I can say I appreciated from this week's episode of Real Housewives of Orange County was the fact that we weren't talking about the Katie Janela storyline. Not necessarily not talking about Katie, they didn't, but not talking about bloggers. We didn't say Kiki Monique's name again this week. I just did, but you get what I'm saying. And I'm sure she's probably happy not to hear her name this week because I see a lot of the Bravo universe attacking her. You guys are attacking people on social media and not really. You talk about how you do not like bullying of Katie. How do you justify bullying someone else? No matter if you like them, even if you think they're a bully, how do you justify bullying someone else? Bullying someone with bullying. I don't like bullying. I never like a gang up. Okay, so why are you guys ganging up on housewives, ganging up on Kiki Monique or bloggers or podcasts? Make it make sense. And the reason why I say this, and I get it, being passionate about a show is fantastic. This is what makes these shows successful. This is what increases ratings and streaming. However, people draw the line when it comes to harassing and bullying. I say that because you don't know these people. And I know I usually say that somewhat facetiously, but not really. You don't know these people. You've never met these people. Maybe you met them at BravoCon, but you're still not friends with these people. And even if you do have their number and you're friends with them, Real Housewives, New Jersey, you guys, they're not your friends. I have to be careful what I say on here because at the New York show that I did this past Friday, some of y'all are keeping notes on things that I say. Miss Foodie had, first of all, Miss Foodie didn't even ask a question. Miss Foodie, you should have brought up some of those notes that you had during when we did Q&A, because some of that stuff was juicy, and I only told Miss Foodie and her friend. Sorry. This is why you got to come to a live show. And for those that are like, oh, I missed it, blah, blah, blah. I can't promise you that I will be doing live shows in 2026. I mean, I'll have intentions to do one, but if you missed this last New York City show, you may have missed all of these series. I'm in my Loverboy era now. Well, come 2026, I'll be in my Loverboy era. If you came to the show, shout out to everyone that got the streaming ticket. I appreciate every single person that came to the show, but also got a live stream ticket. A lot of you showed up for the live stream, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to our King's Guards that came out to the live stream. We appreciate everyone, okay? All right. Now the holidays are right around the corner. I know you're thinking, Kempire, what? No, come on. I'm not going to start decorating the studio yet, but yeah, the holidays are here. Wish you a Merry Christmas. Play. All right. I'm trying to think when I'm going to start. Okay, never mind. Let me focus on the episode of Orange County. I do have some notes just to remind me of some of the stupid things that happened in this episode. They did what they did last season. Remember last season they did 2 separate little like group trips with the group? I kind of don't mind that. And no one's offended by it. No one's like, why didn't she invite me to the... It was all... I'm guessing this was pre-produced. But it was kind of nice to see them go separately and hang out with each other. Which group would you want to hang out with? Heather Dubrow? Because she's paying for everything. She's not going to buy you a Birkin, but she's paying for everything. She's taking you to her stations. You're eating at the best places. You're in her high rise. And she's like, oh, what was that outside? Was that a bird? She's like, no, we're too high up. What? This is why I say, I know Heather has nothing really going on, but she is able to give us the fabulosity that a lot of you say that you love. And she's quirky too. Her personality, I'm not going to sit here and act as if her personality isn't quirky and funny and very Housewives and she doesn't know what she's doing. I mean, there's not a lot going on there personally, and a lot is orchestrated. Do you guys think that she paid that person to say that she did not pay another person to take pictures of her? I don't know. I kind of think so, because she knows that you're going to be out in the street. She knows that you're going to be filming. And the previous week we had the lie detector test basically say that she was lying about that. But y'all believe that, but y'all don't believe about the Katie aspect of the lie detector test. I don't know what I believe anymore. I do believe that she paid someone to take pictures of her and Dr. Terry. Because I also think they're very, very calculated, very pre-produced in what we will see when it comes to their relationship. They are. And when you get like that, people like that should not be on reality television. But they like being on reality television. Not because they need the money, because they like the fame. They like the attention. They like what it can do for her podcast. Speaking of her podcast, I have to say this. I know some people thought maybe like, oh, see, she has nothing really going on. No, did you pay attention to the conversation? Especially if you're paying attention to what's happening in our country, especially what happened this past week and how the transgender community is being villainized politically and in our society. So the conversation that she had with her special guest, hold on, y'all. I got something in my eye. I'm keeping my fourth wall in. Lord have mercy. Dylan Mulvaney. Lord, you see, this is the downside. All y'all keep saying that y'all want long eyelashes and y'all jealous of men that have long eyelashes. Well, this is what this hasn't happened in a long time though. Oh, got it right in my eye. I don't even think it like got in my. I think it was just sticking me in the eye. Lord have mercy. That's what he said. I'm keeping that in because I'm like, it still feels like it's in there though. I'm gonna have to deal with that later. So if you see me blinking, y'all know what it is. I don't have a twitch. But anyway, I say all that to say, Dylan Mulvaney, if I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly, I apologize. I know they say not to rub your eyes, because I already hear the mamas in the chat saying, don't rub your eyes. Sometimes that's the only way. See, now I feel better. Now my eye might be a little irritated, but it's okay. We'll be strong. But no, back to this, the seriousness of this. And at first, when I first watched it, I actually watched this episode like 3 times because I watched it right before, because I thought I was going to record the recap before my live show and drop that for you guys. I just did not have the time. There's just so much going on. I just did not have the time. And I was like, you know what? I can't. You guys will have to wait. Sometimes you got to set your boundaries, okay? But I rewatched it a few times, but then I rewatched and really was paying attention to the scene. I was like, oh no, this scene is not a filler. This is not just a storyline. And we know what's been going on when it comes to Heather and her kids and things like that. And she's like, the different sexualities, the different genders and things like that. And especially when you pay attention to what's happening right now, no matter how you feel about, because I see the comment section, especially in some of these blogs, anytime trans rights comes up, especially our community, the Black community, I'm going to be very specific. You guys are some, just like, the comments, I'm not saying all of us, I'm not giving you guys a Kelly Price, but within these blogs, Black blogs, the comment section when it comes to trans people, I can almost predict the comments are going to be derogatory instead of understanding my favorite quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So if they're threatening the rights of trans people today, they're already threatening your rights. So not being supportive or standing 10 toes down for trans people and what's happening to them and them being villainized in this political atmosphere that we're currently in, you're separating yourself when we should all be coming together to fight against these stupid laws and rhetoric that's being posted out there. So this scene to me was actually really important with everything that's happening right now. Very, very important. But I say all that to say, yeah, that was it for Heather. We're gonna move on. I do have some notes that I just wanted to mention. Okay, so here's the thing. So there are going to be these 2 separate trips. Shannon gets a call, a FaceTime. She's getting a facial with her daughter. Yes, I wish I had known about important skincare at 20. Luckily, skincare is skincaring. Stay tuned. I'm going to be collabing with Butter next Friday, September 19th, for a special online event. So stay tuned for that. But I wish I had started my skincare earlier. And I think a lot of my skincare stuff has to do with genetics, but also what I've been doing for the last 10, maybe a little bit over 10 years, really taking really in the last 5 years, taking my skincare very seriously. So, okay, I'm digressing. It's okay. So Tamra FaceTimes with Shannon, and it's awkward because they're not in the best place. And I don't blame Shannon. But here's the thing. My challenge with Shannon is because a lot of us, including myself, has like, she gives me like grandma energy, not in a negative way, not in an ageist way, but like there's like this warmness to her that's been presented. But I also tell you guys, I've heard things about the, behind the scenes. Then you saw what happened recently, like people talking about Katie recording her because she was having a fit behind the scenes, being rude to employees and things like that. So I have that element. So I know that Shannon's not innocent, but we know straight up on camera that Tamra is not innocent. Tamra was horrendous. No matter if you feel as if your friend did you dirty, is mean behind the scenes, if you really believe that she was struggling with alcoholism, the way you handle it would set someone into a spiral into alcoholism. So for me, the way you handle that was not helping. Was not helpful. It was not rooted in love. It was rooted in someone desperate to focus on someone else, to do the producer's dirty work, That's what it gave. It didn't give friend of the last 10 years. So save me in this episode. And I was glad that Shannon stepped up for herself and said, oh, stop coming for Jen, because this is what you do. And then she brings up all the things. That's how the episode ends. I'm jumping ahead, but it's all relevant. But I say this because literally when Tamra meets with Emily, she makes it seem as if Shannon was a mess. And again, we're watching an edited version, but they flash back to like, her cleavage was all out. Her cleavage was not even out. Her neck. Look, this is like, okay, I'm gonna move the mic for those that are watching this. But if you are on the podcast, I'm moving my collar down. It's not a big collar. It's not a V-neck. It's a crew neck. This is what her shirt looks like. And then when Tamra points it out, she pulls it up, like all the way up to her neck. So please ignore what's happening behind me. This is the downside of living in New York City or any big city. You hear all the sirens and whatnot. And I have my terrace door open. So I'm like, y'all going to hear it all. But you guys can hear me clearly. But it's the sound effects of New York behind me. You might not even be able to hear it. You probably do. Who cares? Anyway, it's reminding me of when we were covering Diddy and we were having all those moments. But anyway. You're going to get this Real Housewives of Orange County recap, flaws and all. All right. Anyway, so the way she painted that to Emily, but not just to Emily, this is a reality show. The way she's putting it out there, she was like a mess. Her cleavage was all out. Again, with the insinuation, Shannon's a mess. Is Shannon still drinking? And you see, that is where we end up by the end of this episode. Them going back to Shannon's drinking. And I'm not saying that Shannon doesn't have a drinking problem. However, now you're putting it out there as fodder and not really trying to help your friend. Because if you really was trying to help your friend, you wouldn't be doing this on camera. You'd be really trying to help her off camera. And then you throw Gina under the bus. Like, well, Gina is concerned as well. And she's like, yeah, I'm scared for you. So she's going to be honest. I think a lot of us are not necessarily scared for Shannon, but like, yeah, I think there might be an issue here. I haven't seen anything during the season, but we're watching again an edited show. I don't know what they're seeing. And when they're not filming, what they're seeing or hearing in those Orange County streets. So for me, when Tamra has a conversation with Emily, I'm like, see, there really is no... Tamra wants to pretend like she is so saved and she's in therapy and she's changed. She hasn't. I've seen so many examples this season of like, yeah, there goes the Tamra. There it goes again. All of this commentary. And some will say some of what she's saying in confessionals is because, this is after they filmed and they're not in the best place. No, I'm talking about things that happened in scene. That Tamra comment was in scene with Emily right after she FaceTimed with Shannon. So Shannon's uncomfortable with the invitation to Temecula. I kind of like the name, Temecula. It just rolls off the tongue. Does it? Not always, right? But she invites Shannon, and Shannon's just like, okay. Because Shannon's just like, we're not in the best place. Sidebar, Shannon has refollowed Katie Janela. So is Emily. Performative. Didn't Shannon say, I will never speak to you again? Okay, girl. So Tamra invites Shannon, Jenn, and Gina on a 24-hour getaway. And Tamra's hope is that because she's in a better place with Jenn, that she'll be able to help her relationship with Shannon. However, Jen's been crashing out on social media still. Yes, poor Jenn. I know she worried because she had such a great last season, the previous season, and her third season now, people are turned on her. They feel like she's turned on Katie. I haven't turned on you, Jenn. I do think that, especially when she was on Watch What Happens Live, your response to, and honestly, I would have put it on Gretchen to have to answer that. Because Gretchen's now saying that she misspoke in that filmed where she admitted that, yeah, I said that I went to the hospital. She's like, I misspoke. Girl, you lied. For someone that is so Christian, well, I was like, and I rewatched that Kiki, Monique, and Gretchen scene with Gina, and I was like, Gretchen, this is so performative. You definitely lied. But I feel like everybody's lying. That's the problem. I feel like everybody's lying. So it's hard to even get to the bottom of what really happened here. So at this particular point, I think we're all just like, we don't even care. We don't care anymore. Okay. So Tamra invites everyone. Jenn and Gina convince Shannon to come on the trip, even though Shannon is hesitant and not sure she wants to rekindle the relationship. She even asked her therapist if that's something that she should do. So Heather is hosting her sleepover. Ladies, I think this would be really fun. A sleepover as grown adults. I haven't done that. I don't know if I would want to do that, to be honest with you. There aren't a lot of people I would want to do a sleepover with. But I think that is such a cute idea, especially if the person's rich. Right? We're going to do a sleepover at your penthouse overlooking Beverly Hills? Okay. But anyway. So she decides to invite Emily and Gretchen. They do canopy beds, snacks. They bring in a butler. They went out shopping. A good old time. Okay. All right. So at the sleepover, Emily reveals that Jenn asked whether Heather is just pacifying Tamra because she's afraid of her. She admitted that she's afraid of her. Heather denies this, saying that she's not scared and pointing out she's confronted Tamra about past behavior. I know, but I will say this season, it feels weird. It feels like a 180 when it comes to Heather and this whole Tamra of it all. And I feel like it's an alliance more than it's actually a friendship or her feeling for Tamra or seeing that Tamra has changed in the least bit. So they talk about that. What was it? It was something else that happened in that scene that I wanted to mention, but I can't remember. So it was unimportant. So during the Temecula trip, Tamra gives Shannon the primary bedroom. So she's like really sucking up to her. That's the thing with Tamra she doesn't understand. This is the important fact of, I don't need you to keep saying sorry to me or being the Ramona apologizer. I need you to actually show change behavior. So she's trying to suck up to Shannon. Shannon's so uncomfortable with it. She gives her the primary bedroom. Shannon brings many cooking food items, okay, in her food suitcase. Mind you, they're only doing this for 24 hours, okay? She's showing that she wants to lead and contribute to the hospitality. So during the vineyard wine tasting, Jenn and Shannon walk together and some tension resurfaces. Shannon, they talk about some of what happened during this particular scene. But what stood out to me was the fact that you talk about this, quote, fat photo. And Gina's been saying that, Tamra showed Heather this fat photo. But when they replay the scene, you literally see Heather say, well, she was a little bit heavier. Not fat, but a little bit heavier. I can see where Gina could run with the narrative that, it's this fat photo. I can see that. It's like a game of telephone. Okay? So I will say it seemed as if they had some progress, Gina and Tamra, when she explains to her, like, this is what was put out there. So later on at dinner, Jenn and Tamra have a conversation about it. Here's the thing. On one side of this, I felt like Jenn was harping and needed to let it go. Very much like what we saw this week with Stephanie. I believe that the bros are problematic and mean girls and probably set her up for whatever. And we'll talk about this during our Real Housewives of Miami recap. However, I felt like Stephanie was harping instead of just letting it go. And that sometimes happens with newbies. They don't realize, okay, we resolved this, let's move forward. However, with Tamra, it's a little different because like I just said, she's an apologizer and then she'll do the behavior again. So, but in this particular instance, I felt like she gave a justifiable response. Tamra gave a justifiable response for sharing the photo. I don't feel like she was 100% honest. Like, you were being messy. You were being shady by you were trying to say that she was trying to turn into you, even though she lost a few pounds. But Jenn explained, she's like, during that time, when that picture was taken, I was with Will. I was not my happiest. I was eating, even when I wasn't hungry. So she's like, she's living her best life now. But here's the thing with Tamra. Why I say you can't trust Tamra when Tamra says she's trying to move forward with you. Then she brings up some stuff that she heard about Ryan. Oh, he likes a wife with, tits on a stick kind of thing. And it's just like, see, this is why you can't move forward. Again, this is a confessional filmed after all their issues. Oh, whatever. But you could also give grace in this particular instance. Like, I'm not going to go there. I do want to move forward. But people can't trust Tamra. And I don't blame them for not trusting Tamra because she's not trustworthy. If this is what you would do to your friend of 10 plus years and you love to bring that up, then what won't you do? What won't you do? Just saying. All right. So I'm jumping around. So there's that scene that I mentioned before in regards to the paparazzi when the sleepover is happening. So they're out in the streets of Beverly Hills, and there's a paparazzi that says, "Oh no, Heather didn't pay the paparazzi guy. I know the guy. She didn't pay." So Emily is just like, "Did Heather pay this person to meet us in the street and tell us this?" And at first I was like, come on. But then I was like, it's not impossible. She knows when they're filming. She knows where they're going to be. She knows they're going to be on the street. She knows what they're supposed to be doing for the day. She could plot and plan this. We just had the lie detector test say that she lied about it. She could be trying to clean it up. Heather, at this particular point, girl, I wonder if they're going to bring up, well, no, Amir said this in an interview that Katie told him that there are these gay guys that gave up sexual favors to Dr. Terry, allegedly, for plastic surgery. I don't know if they're going to bring that up at the reunion, but that's what Amir is saying that Katie told him. That's very random. That was very random. But okay. So let me see what else happened in this episode I want to talk about. Okay, so then the issue of Jen's, quote, fat photo comes up. So just when we think everything is good between Jenn and Tamra, somewhat good, not in the best place, but in a better place, this comes up again. And they talk about it during the sleepover, like, well, Emily says, like, there's an open wound with just a Band-Aid over it. And I think we all kind of knew that. I don't think we thought that the issues, especially because we see what's playing out on social media, I don't think any of us thought that the issues between Tamra and Jenn were completely over. I also think that Jenn has aligned herself with Gretchen. So whatever Gretchen and wherever Gretchen is with Tamra, she's not going to budge. She's going to ride with Gretchen. I don't think she should have hitched her wagon to Gretchen. I don't think she should have. Do I think that's what she's doing when it comes to Katie? Part of me does, in a way, but I also think that Katie lies. And I think Jenn is just like, I can't defend you when you're straight up lying. I don't know. They're going to have to bring some hard receipts. And I hope at the reunion that they're able to clear some of this up. But I highly doubt it. I think they're going to brush over a lot and try and move forward. But I think for season 20, it's a big iconic number, that they do need to make some changes when it comes to this cast to make it work for next season. Because I'm watching Shannon, I'm just like, there's not a lot going on with Shannon. There's not a lot going on with Heather. There's not a lot going on with Tamra besides Tamra being a fire starter. Jen's got a little bit more going on. She's got her own personal family divorce stuff, and she's getting married again. She's got more going on. I know you guys are, well, some of you, Team Katie, but what's going on with Team Katie? What's going on with Katie and her storyline? And literally, she just did an interview talking about, she had put off going to find her birth parents and things like that. But she's like, I'm not going to share this on this show or with these people. I don't blame her, but at the same time, okay, so what else? What else is going on with you, Katie? What else is your storyline? Okay, all your kids are going to be under one roof for a week. Okay. And then when you're and here's the thing. I always say this, I'm going to continue to say this. You don't have to have a storyline if you're an interesting person. Technically, that's what I kind of get from Shannon. She can be so quirky and weird. You saw some of the things that played out during this episode, just a little funny, missing tooth, funny. Like, she's quirky, she's weird in a lot of ways, in a good, entertaining TV way. I don't get that from Katie. There's certain people that just don't have that. They're just pretty. And some of y'all give pretty privilege to Katie because she's pretty. So you're like, oh, I like her. Mother. Okay. Because she's pretty. And then you're bored. Okay. All right. Not me. Hence why she probably blocked me. Not probably, she blocked me. That's probably the reason why, because she doesn't want to hear the truth. My truth, Katie. Guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Other channels will start to show up on your Explorer page. And if you're listening to this, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And share this video. Share the audio. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's very easy. These apps make it so easy to share what we're talking about here on the Kempire podcast and YouTube channel. Okay? And follow me on TikTok. I go live on TikTok all the time. Matter of fact, after this, I'm probably going to go live on TikTok if it's not too late and do a little bit of unboxing. I know by the time you guys watch this, the unboxing will be over, but I do it all the time. Shout out to those of you that brought beautiful gifts to me. Someone brought me the coffee cake by sprinkled by Melissa Gorga. I've been wanting it, but I was like, I'm not going to get it. I'm trying to eat better, do better. One of my lovely YouTube subscribers came to the New York City show. I apologize, I don't have your name in front of me, but thank you for my coffee cake. I haven't tried it yet, but look, as I'm talking about this, I might have to shorten this recap, but I'm going to have to share it too because it's big. It's a big one. And I was going to buy it because, I was the one telling you guys I love the cookies. I bought the cookies, I bought it myself. Melissa ended up sending me cookies another time, and then she sent me cookies again. So I thought maybe she'll send me the coffee cake. She didn't. She didn't. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Is it all right? It is, because one of my subscribers brought it to me, and I will let you guys know if it's good. And if it's good, there'll be a video. Just saying. The business must be doing well for Melissa because, sprinkle cookies are normally just for the holidays, and now it's about to be the holidays. The business is doing good. I will say that. And I say that not just because of it still being around in different variations. As someone that does this business of social media and dealing with advertisers, I was like, oh, Sprinkle by Melissa is doing well for her. Good for you, Melissa. Good for you. I mean, I'm so shocked. And maybe this pause, here we go talking about New Jersey, but maybe this pause, not maybe, pushes people to do other things that they probably would never have done before. She should have done sprinkle cookies years ago, but now she's done them. But stay tuned for my review of the coffee cake. I do love a coffee cake. Anyone else? I do love a coffee cake, but sprinkles in it? I'm going to give you an honest review, Melissa. And to our audience. All right. Let's move on. Okay. What else happens in this episode? All right. So at dinner, Jen questions Tamra's intentions with showing the photo and says that Tamra's apologies aren't enough anymore. She wants Tamra to mature. And I agree with that, and I get why she doesn't trust Tamra. It just felt like, I was like, all right, Jen, let's move on, because either you guys are going to be cool or you're going to be civil. Figure it out. Or at least say, you know what? I can take that. I can take your apology, but it's going to take me some time to warm up to you. Tamra, though, flips. Tamra, just got this little tick. She's just like, what else do you want from me? You want blood? And that's when Shannon jumps in. And Shannon's just like, you expect people to just move on, and then you do the same thing again. You do the same thing again. And then it leads to a conversation about Shannon's drinking again. Because Shannon brought up the fact that you were saying all these things about my drinking, and they were not helpful. So Tamra throws Gina under the bus. And Gina's concerned too. Gina's like, just stand on what you believe. Why are you throwing other people under the bus? But production loves that. This is why some of you that are producers that are part of the audience are like, oh my gosh, this is why Tamra's so great for the show. We are talking about someone's real life, y'all. We're talking about someone that could have a real issue with drinking. And now you're bringing it up on the show. For all you know, that could set someone off when they stop filming. I get it. We're talking about a reality show. We're talking about entertainment. But this is someone's real life that we should be mindful of. So the episode ends with this fighting between Shannon and Tamra. And that was the whole point of this trip, so that they could flesh out their issues. I don't know if by the end of the season that they actually do flesh out their issues, but I don't know. No, they don't, because I've seen social media. But I don't think they ever were really friends. I know you guys have been watching the show for a long time. You're like, well, no, they had some good years, and they had the Trace Amigas, and they went on tour, and blah 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 blah. I don't think Tamra knows how to be a friend to anyone. Oh, another example of how Tamra is trying to act like she's going to be nice. She's going to give this book to Shannon on, first of all, the shady book in regards to, I forgot what it was, but it was like a shady theme. And then it had big letter writing. So her daughters was like, okay, this is not the best. If you're trying to make peace with this person, this is not the best way to do it. Agreed. And your teenager has to tell you that. I don't know if she's the teenager, but your young daughter has to tell you that, Tamra. Tamra's never going to change. At her big age, yes, therapy can help you heal a lot. But Tamra's behavior, she's never going to change. She isn't. And all you Virgos, I in some ways I can see Virgo in her, but I gotta see, this is where you need to know your moon sign and your rising sign. What do you think her moon and rising are? I wonder if I can find that online. But here's the downside of this. You need someone's exact birth time in order to get an accurate rising. But let's see if we can find it. Because, we always talk about it. I'm just like, and I get it. Virgos who watched the live stream, we sang happy birthday to the Virgos. Don't ever say I don't have y'all back. Okay? Don't ever say I don't have y'all back. We sang happy birthday. I came out to the biggest Virgo of you all, Beyonce. And it started off Beyonce Virgo-ish. I'm intentional. I hope you guys really paid attention. For those that watch the live stream or you have the live stream ticket, you have that for the week. I hope you guys are very intentional and you paid attention. Did you notice the light changes? Where it went from one color, and then when I announced the Loverboy era. Did you pay attention? Shout out to Shannon. Okay, shout out to, because we worked on that. I was very intentional. Okay, shout out to the Brooke Ashley, who was our hostess with the mostest for the fourth time. I don't know why I kept on thinking that was the third time, but no, this was our fourth show at the Green Room 42 sold out show. So thank you to everyone that came out and everyone that purchased a live stream ticket. They also said we set a record. We didn't beat the top record, but they said in regards to the amount of times that we've been there, and then this last show, like, they don't normally see the numbers that we bring out. I was like, we are an online community. People show up and show out from all around the world. So thank you to everyone that watched the live stream. So many of you, I've seen the comments. A lot of you watched the live stream. So thank you. If you're in the live chat, be sure to let me know if you watched the live stream, what you thought. I always I put on the show, but I'm like, was that good? Was that entertaining? How can I make it better? But a lot of you said it was good. You had a good time. So thank you. All right. I found her birth chart, allegedly. Again, unless you really know her birth time, it's going to be hard. There's a lot of Virgo in her chart. Not she has a Leo moon like me. No.
This honey.
They say, okay, do they have her rising? They don't have her rising on here because it's hard to determine her rising. Her Venus is Virgo. Her Mercury is Virgo. And you can look up what Mercury and Venus is with love. I forget what Mercury is for. I think it might be career. I can't remember. But she's got a lot of Virgo. But she's got a Virgo sun, Leo moon. There's a lot of Virgo in her chart. Uranus is Virgo. Pluto is Virgo. Neptune is Scorpio. Uranus is Virgo. Saturn is Aries. Jupiter is Leo. And for those that always hit me, I'm like, Kempire, can you read my chart? I'm not an astrologer. There are plenty of more experienced people that can do your chart. But I do implore people, yes, once you figure out where all your stuff is and you got your birth chart, get a professional that can read it to you. And they can tell you what's going to happen in the next year. That's why it's always good to go and get another birth chart reading because things change every year. So every month, basically. But yeah. So, okay. She and I share a Leo moon, y'all.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right. Let me see what else that I wanted to talk about from this episode. Again, reminder, shout out to our King's Guard, shout out to our channel members. Become a member because, there are perks to being a member. Perks. I have a lot of content from this tour, this summer tour. Thank you to everyone that came to Philly. Thank you to everyone that came to Atlanta. Thank you to everyone that came to the DC show. Thank you to our King's Guards that showed up and that have been holding us down and promoting as well. Thank you to everyone else that has been promoting. I've been promoting hard. Thank you to everyone that came to the New York City show. We had a sold out show in New York and a sold out show in DC. So thank you to you guys. Atlanta, I get it. We sold out our first show there. We were on a Tuesday. So I'm going to work on coming back to Atlanta on a Friday or Saturday. That way that we can have everybody be a part. Okay, so understood, Atlanta, because our last year's show sold out. Okay, I say all that to say, what else did I want to mention in regards to this episode? I got a couple of quotes. Were there anything... Do I want to? No. I just want to see if there's anything that I may have missed. I felt like this was a filler episode, but the season feels like a filler. I'm not that interested in the season. It's not a terrible season, especially when I think about Real Housewives of New York, but not a great season. But that's me. All right. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. It was a subscribers only live chat. There's all kinds of perks to being a subscriber of the channel, but also being a member. So choose your poison. All right, y'all. I will see you during our Real Housewives of Miami recap. If I have time on Sunday, I'll do it Sunday afternoon. If I don't, it won't be Monday because we have our final recap of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, our Rewind Rewatch recap. That's our final one for the reunion for season 6. So that will be on Monday. And then I have things to do too. So I'm going to try and do Miami probably Sunday. So buckle up, guys. It'll be a busy Sunday. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this, guys, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Reminder, those watching, like the video. Like the video. So important. All right, guys, I will see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching and for listening. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.